Good morning. Although it's 12:30, little past morning. So today I'm supposed to be in Philadelphia right now, transporting a puppy back to Orlando. So if you don't know, I'm training under somebody. She's teaching people how to do the flight nanny job, transferring puppies and cats and rabbits. And so yeah, but I don't know if you heard, there's like a big storm on the East Coast. And so she wrote last night, my flight was supposed to leave at 7:10 this morning, and so I had to be up early. And she wrote me last night at about 9 and said her flight was canceled to Philadelphia, and so she had to cancel my flight because the whole point was that we were going together. And so, which I was relieved because I was a little worried about the weather. So yeah, so I said no worries at all. And I didn't have to get up at like 3. And so I said, anyway, I'm going to focus on that when I get back to Minnesota, doing that. So I said we can just rearrange it or whatever. So last night, instead of doing that, I'd washed all my bedding, and I got a new topper because the zipper broke on the other one, and I got it yesterday. And so I made the bed last night. And I remember when I lived in my house, I had a California king, which I don't know why, because it was just me, and I don't really move when I sleep. I sleep on like this much, so I would just basically fold it over, sleep, and then fold it back over, so it wasn't much to make the bed. But you know how hard it is to make your own bed, like you're sweating trying to put the corners over and stuff. So I was sweating my buns off last night in here. Because I have the topper to put on. I have the sheets. I still have those cooling sheets, which I still love. If you don't know, I reviewed them. And I still love them. I actually want, and food for thought, when you decorate stuff, listen, I love this shabby chic. I love like the beach themes and stuff like that. But, when you have a white comforter and you eat on it, because I'm on my computer and stuff, it can get a little dirty. I'm gonna get a new one once and they're cheap. I think I paid $20 for that. So I don't go on the high end when I get those, because I know it's gonna happen. But anyway, so I had the topper to put on, all 4 corners, and like I said, I opened the back door, and the topper, the fitted sheet, and then the other sheet, the cover sheet, and then the comforter. And a lot of times, and then I washed all my blankets, so I have like 3 blankets back there, and I washed all those, and the pillowcases, so I had to put those on. And I have a body pillow back there. So it was a chore. I was like, oh my God, sweating. You don't need to go to the gym. Just make your bed, wash all your linen, and make your bed. And I was going to say too, get a friend like Keith. So, I was planning on driving to the airport myself. My flight was going to be at 7:10. And so, it takes about over an hour to get to the airport from here. It's taken out of Orlando. And so I was trying to figure out, I have no problem driving to the airport and doing stuff myself. But, I was going to park Charlene. A lot of times, Charlene, I know at the Minneapolis airport, I can't go in some of the parking ramps. I have to park outside because Charlene's so tall. And so, if it was during the day, I would just leave really early and go figure it out. But when it's that early in the morning and it's going to be pitch dark, I just didn't want to be running late and miss my flight. But I was going to do it. And Keith, I was like, oh yeah, my flight takes off at 7:10. I was like, oh, I leave Tuesday. And he goes, well, what time you want to leave? And I go, Keith, that's a long drive, and that's early. And he goes, Tracy. And I go, what? He goes, I'm your friend. It's like, wow. Like, that's a friend. That unconditional, do anything for you. And then he's going to pick me up tonight too. And so, yeah, find yourself friends like that. Sometimes they're hard to find, but look at, I picked them up on the road. Keith and John. Just pick these people up. But, okay, so hopefully, so that's all for today. But hopefully the Catamaran thing works out. I think he's talking to them today. I think they were putting the boat in the water today. So, and tonight, I won't miss Taco Tuesday then. It's Taco Tuesday at the Mexican place right by us. And they're amazing. It's a couple that own it and run it. And yeah, it's fun. Everybody at the Wrinkle Ranch goes to Taco Tuesday. And then they're home by 6 o'clock to digest and go to bed. So, woohoo! Yes. Okay, I am going to go work out right now. And then I always have work to do. And honestly, I've just had some really big things kind of coming my way. I did sign up with that agency, so that's going to be happening. If it doesn't work out, we both, either one of us can say at any time, like, you know, in 3 months or even before, like, yeah, this isn't working, and then it just goes away. But somebody else reached out to me, and it's kind of big if they reach back out. Sometimes people reach out, businesses, and say, hey, we want to collaborate. And I'm like, yes. Renology reached out to me, you know, the solar panel people. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, score. And I wrote them back, and I'm like, yes, I'd love to collaborate. And then they never wrote me back. It was crickets. Wait. Nah, forget it. And so then I reached out to him again, like, hey, you wrote to me. And yeah, no, nothing. So I don't know what happens. It happens every once in a while. Oh, and I got a e-bike. Never had this happen before, but there was something wrong with it. And so they sent me a new part, and then it worked, was fine. And then I started doing the review, and then something else happened to it. And must be something with the battery. It won't start. And I said, I can't do a review on this. I can't, there's no way I can consciously tell people to buy it. It's never happened before, never. And so, I don't know, I was a little disappointed and a little kind of, I don't know. They haven't written me back. I wrote them back 2 nights ago. But I think there's some holiday where they are right now. So, yeah. So, you know, just morally, there's no way I could do that I could put a review out there. When I put out reviews, I really like the bikes. Like I said, all the e-bikes, pretty much, the e part of it, the electric part of it, pretty much runs the same. It's mostly Shimano gears, you know, that's all the same. It's mostly about what you're looking for, like the style, or, you know, how far do you want it to go on one charge, or how fast it goes, or, you know, there's a lot of times a weight limit, or there's a certain height that it's, you know, for. You know, those are the things you're looking for. Like I said, as far as the e-bike part of it goes, the electric part, that's pretty much the same for any of them. So those are the things that you look for when you're buying an e-bike. And let me know if you want me to do a kind of like an in-depth on that. And, you know, for me, disc brakes, because I've had a couple that didn't have them. And for me, that's top priority for me, that I would want one with disc brakes. So yeah, so I guess I kind of just told you everything. All right, well, I'm gonna go work out, and it's just at Walmart. I feel like I'm here every day. And I'm gonna go do some computer work. But yeah, I don't know, good things happening. I really hope. I was up at 2 last night. I don't know, I just woke up, and then I got this email, and then I was excited, so I wrote them back right away. And then I could sleep. I didn't fall asleep till like 5 o'clock this morning. So anyway, like you care. Okay, I'm gonna go work out. Okay, see you soon. Okay, I am back at the ranch, and I pulled up and the FedEx guy was there, and I got another e-bike. And have you ever met people? There's a lady that works here, and if she sees like something wrong, she's like the biggest tattletale. her name, well, I won't tell you what her name is, but she's truly a Karen. Don't be like her. Oh my gosh. The FedEx guy had the bike, in the back, and he was literally just got it off and was holding it. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's for me. I said, Tracy Tischler? And he goes, yeah. And I said, oh, it's an e-bike. And I said, well, listen, we can just put it right in the back. And so, literally took 2 minutes. I opened the door. We both put it up and closed the door. And she comes around the FedEx truck and she goes, what's going on? It's like, I go, oh. Oops. I go, it's another bike for me. And because she knows I get them here. And she goes, I can't have him parked here like this. He was probably there less than 5 minutes. He had just taken the bike off the back. And honestly, he looked at me and she's something else. He goes, yeah, I know. You must have to deal with her quite a bit. Just like people who you wonder what happened in their childhood, that maybe they didn't have a lot of power or something, and then now, not that she has any power, but she kind of does, that any little thing, she's off telling somebody. She told on some guy here, and he's such a nice guy, and he did something was not his fault. And she wrote him up right away. And he said, listen, I'm sorry this happened, and explaining why it happened, what happened. And she says, I already told the manager. And the manager called him and apologized because it was no big deal. Whew. Anyhow, just be glad you're not like that. Or I hope you're not like that. If you are like that, don't be like that. Don't make other people's lives, not fun because you're around. And speaking of that, Greg, don't be like Greg. He's actually commented before, and you can be like Greg. Greg's a nice guy. I think he gets it, and I think he gets now not to tell women that the camera adds 10, maybe 20 pounds. So there you go. See, we learn lessons here on Adventures Over 50. And speaking of that, class is in session. Oh, is that loud? Sorry. Class is in session. So I have been, since picking up the seashells and all that, I have been fascinated how they're made. I mean, they're so beautiful. Like, I hadn't even thought about it before. Like, how you just think, oh, there's a shell and they just go crawl in there. Live like that. Nope, that's not how it works, because I've been looking it up and researching it. So if you have ever wondered how it's formed, or how they make their shells, I am going to show you right here. Get your glasses on. Here we go. School's in session. All those seashells you find on the beach were actually once home to small, soft-bodied creatures called mollusks. Clams, pippies, scallops, mussels, and oysters are all different types of mollusks. Not all mollusks have shells. For example, an octopus is also a mollusk, and it doesn't have a shell. But the mollusks who do have shells have to build their own shell from scratch, and they keep building it their whole life. A few days after a baby mollusk comes out from a tiny eggs, they start building their shell layer after layer. They use salt and chemicals from the sea, such as calcium and carbonate. They also use other ingredients from their own bodies, such as special chemicals called proteins that help them build their shell. The part of the mollusk body that is in charge of building the shell is called the mantle. The mantle builds a kind of frame first, using proteins to make it very strong. It then fills it in with calcium and carbonate. These are some of the same chemicals your body uses to make your bones. To make space for their growing body, mollusks have to gradually enlarge and extend their shells by adding new layers of those building blocks: calcium, carbonate, and proteins. The newest part of the sea snail's shell, for example, is around the opening where the animal pokes out. Seashells are important for the planet. If damaged, the mollusk body can produce more proteins, calcium, and carbonate to repair the broken part of the shell. When a mollusk dies, the soft body disappears, but its shell remains and eventually washes up on the shore. This is how seashells end up on the beach. As you know, there are many types of seashells out there and lots of different shapes, sizes, and colors of shell. Over time, mollusks have grown to have the type of shell that helps it best survive in its environment. For example, some shells help protect the mollusk against animals that want to eat it, while others are designed to make it easier for the mollusk to dig down fast to get away. The color of the shell depends mainly on what the mollusk has eaten. Before you collect seashells from the beach, think about how important they are to the planet. Seashells may not be home to mollusks anymore, but they can still be used as homes by hermit crabs or young fish. Birds also use shells to build their nests, so you can see some animals need the shells more than we do. Isn't that so interesting? And as I was down that rabbit hole, I ran across how clams make pearls. Fascinating. So guess what? Next class, that's what you're going to learn. Isn't it something that it's stuff, we're so into our day-to-day lives that, there are these things that they're such miracles that we don't even think about them or wonder how they're made or how that happens. They're magic. All right. I'm going to take you to Taco Tuesday with us. I'll show you what we're having, and then I'll wrap it up there. So, okay, let's go to Taco Tuesday with Keith and John. And I think more from the Wrinkle Ranch are coming. Everybody's invited to Taco Tuesday. Here we go.
Did you taste it?
Hey, we're at Taco Tuesday. What are we having? Oh, John already drank it.
Oh, there's a little bit left.
We heard the slurping at the bottom of it. Okay, we're done with we're done with Taco Tuesday. John actually was there a resident? Was there? And John's like, yeah, gotta go, and he's hitting him up. he just had skin cancer. And the guy's like, Joe.
I tapped him right where he had the incision.
So it's not just you, John. It's everybody. Yeah, people can understand that. Yeah. So we're gonna let him go. Go out.
Make an adventure.
Make an adventure. No matter
how
big or how small. You have to sell everything and move into a van. Why?
Because Tracy did that.
I did that. There's Chef. Go call someone you love.
And tell them
that you love them.
That you love them. And
don't you
dare
forget
that you're magic.
That you're magic. We'll
see you
in the next one. Bye. Bye, Chef. Bye.